Welcome to quarantine online classes in the view of lockdown. So we left with few topics in our course, Python course. From those few topics, I'm going to explain about file handling using Python. So before going to the topic, let me tell you what is file. File is a collection of data or information which can be stored in our computer. So this stored collection information data which has a name. So that name we can call it as a file name. So the information and file will be called with the file name. Or else we have another definition also. So another definition is the file is a container in a computer where we can store the information or data. And this container also has a name, so that we can call it as a file name. So in our operating system or else in our computer, we have a various different types of files. So these different type of files we can call it as a textual files or documents or image files or audio files or video files, etc. So these various different types of files can be categorized and can be recognized by using its extension. Each and every file will have its separate extension. For example, let's say I will take the textual document, only plain text. So that file will have that extension called .txt. Or else if I take the document, so document which contains some text and some graphics, tables, images, etc. So that file we can call it as a doc extension. That we can simply call it as a Word document file. Or else we have a files with image file. So image file will have the extension called JPEG, PNG, etc. Or else we have some files with audio. Audio files will have the extension called MP3 audio files or wave audio files, WAV. Or else we have some files, video files. Video files we have the extension called AVI or else MP4, etc. Apart from these files, we have some files which can store our programs or instructions which can be given to the computer. That we can call it as a programming files. So those programming files we can have a C files, Java files or Python files. And C file will have the extension called .c and Java will have the extension called .java. And as we know very well, the programming language Python. So Python file have the extension called .py. You know very well about this, all the Python files. Now this is what all about what is file and what are the different types of files are available in our system. Now coming to what is file handling. So this is a slight difference between file and handling. So file means it's storing a data. So while storing data we have two types. So I can store the data manually. That means I can open a file by using any application and I can type and I can save that file. That is a one way. And or else I can store the data by using some external application like some other program. So for example, I can store the file using the Java programming language, or I can store the file using the Python programming language. So here file handling means we need to handle the file by using Python programming language. So what are the things we can do while handling the file? So major things we can do. So let's first have the comparison between normal file handling and programming language file handling. So in normal file handling, let's I want to store a data into one file. So whenever I want to store a data into one file, first what should I need to do? I need to decide what type of data I need to store. So let's assume that I want to store a data which has only text, which does not have any kind of graphical things like tables or charts or multimedia things, images, audio, nothing. Only I want to store the textual data. So to store the textual data, first I need to go into the operating system. I need to find appropriate application which can store the textual data. So if it is Ubuntu, then I can use the application called gedit. Or if it is Windows, then I can use the application called Notepad. So first what I will do, I will open one of these two applications. Let's assume that I am using the Ubuntu. So whenever I am using the Ubuntu, first I will go to the application called gedit. I will open a file, and once I open the file, I will save that file into my desired location. So let's assume that I am saving that file on desktop. So I will give some name to that file. As it is a text file, then I need to give a name with extension called .txt. So my file name is that first file.txt. So that file is created and saved on desktop. So after creation is completed, then what should I need to do? I need to type the data. So data I will type saying that this is my first file. Then I will save that file. I will close the file. So this thing we can call it as the creation of the file and storing some data into the file manually by using application called gedit. Now the same thing I can do by using the programming language also. That means whenever I execute a Python file, so that automatically it should create a file, and as well as automatically it should write a content to the file, and it should save the file on that particular location. It everything should be done automatically. That we can call it as an automation. So what I need to do, I need to just execute a one small program, the Python program. That program should create a file and write the data into that file, and that file should be saved on the desktop. This part we can do by using the programming language also. So what things I need to do to work with the files in the Python? To work with the files, we need to open a file. So as we have done in the operating system, so first we need to open an application. Same way, here we have a function called open function to open a file. So this function should be this file function. We need to create one instance for this file. That means we need to store that function call into one variable. So let's assume that I will say f is equal to open of this function contains two parameters. The first parameter of the function is the file name in the string format, and second parameter of the function is the mode of the file. So here you know what is file name, but you don't know what is mode. So mode in the sense, what is the purpose of creating a file or accessing the file. So there are various purposes. So what are the purpose? I have a purpose to open a file, or I can create a file, or I can write a file, or I can read a file, or I can append the data to the existing file. These are the various purposes are there. So each and every purpose will be defined by using one character. So what are the characters are there and each and every purpose. So let's assume that I want to create a file. So whenever you want to create a file, what you need to do? You need to use a second parameter as x in the format of string. So x means it's a create a file. Whenever you execute that code, if file is available on that particular location, then it will give an error stating that file is already existed. If file is not available, then it will create a new file on that particular location where it will create the file. So their location again divided into two types: absolute path and relative path. So relative path in the sense where your Python file is available, that particular path. Absolute path in the sense you can give entire path from C, home and users and etc. so on. So let's think we are doing with the relative path. And now it's a file is created. After creation of file, what should I need to do? I need to close the instance of the file. To close the instance of the file, we need to use a function called close function. Close function can be useful by using f.close. What the function here? f.close. Then it will close the file. Clear? This is how we can create files by using Python. Now we need to work with this file for the purpose of writing and as well as for the purpose of reading. We'll see how we can write into the file and how we can read the file by using the program.